Scrub Gamers, welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we're back with some deck profiles. And the first one I want to bring you is my Chirrut Cunning, because with a new set and new cards, there is new possibilities for almost any leader. And Chirrut is my absolute favorite leader in the game, and of course, with new cards and new possibilities and new things for him, even like Enforce cards and like Jedi stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and of course play him. But then rather than play the double blue Chirrut I normally play, I've decided to try out the yellow because I have seen yellow pop up a little bit more for in terms of Chirrut on like some streams and stuff. And I was also always interested in doing all the different colors of Chirrut, but I never thought there was anything worthwhile in yellow to like kind of really make use of them. But now with things like now there are two of them and things like that, there's some nice new stuff that can kind of mesh pretty well with Chirrut. So I thought I'd go over, try out the deck list. I did have some gameplay of it, but unfortunately, I'd use an older phone to record it, so that way I have enough battery to record all the games. Because sometimes I'm drained for battery by the end of the night and can't, I like potentially unable to record them, or didn't have nice battery for after to like get home and stuff. So I tried to use an older phone, but then it didn't really did capture all the games, but trying to transfer to the PC has been a tough one. It's not really working. It doesn't always kind of corrupts when it does. So fortunately, I wasn't able to get gameplay. And it wasn't the best showing either, because I think I ended up going 1-2 for our locals. So it's like small locals for that week, because it was just before Birmingham. And I ended up losing 2 Cad Bane against my buddy Ollie, which was a very fun game. I lost that one 1-2, and I lost against Hard Control because I decided not. I normally always side in things like restock and things like that to kind of help against like Hard Control, because I'm always played it. I love Hard Control, and I always side stuff to kind of deal with it. But the one time I don't do it because I was never really Hard Control at our locals, and I happened to run into someone coming just for that week to play Hard Control. So it's like that was tough. It's quick, an easy 0-2 loss for me. And then the last game was against Red. What was it? Yeah, Green Mall, and that was a 2-1 victory for me there. The only game I won, and that was a pretty fun game. That was it. Look forward to putting up, but unfortunately, yeah, couldn't get the games to transfer over properly. But yeah, that is it. Well, we're going to get into the deck. Basically, go over like my new Chirrut Cunning list. So if you're interested, stay tuned. And also don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop. And by clicking the notification bell, you can get a list of my videos do drop, so you can watch them there and then at a later time that suits you best. And without further ado, let's get into the deck list and check it out. So starting off, we probably should go with the leader. If you're someone who hasn't only come into like later sets or never really seen Chirrut being played, because he hasn't been played much. He saw some play in set 1 in competitive play, because I haven't played in competitive. I just love him, but I normally had like something else that I thought was stronger than him that I felt more comfortable with. But Chirrut's my favorite leader to actually try out and play, and he is one that didn't see much play in set 1. Saw him like with Red. Set 2 didn't see too much then because we had Ray then, and people more went with Ray for the go in like a red with a blue leader that's got Force. So it kind of changed that. And even in the new set, there's a little more Force leaders and different aspect stuff. So kind of Chirrut's taking the back, but I absolutely love him because he's got one big benefit now on the leader's front side. It's not really relevant. You can give a boost to something, but he's a Force leader in blue that deploys pretty early at 5 resources, which is quite early, the earliest I think for any of the blue heroic Force leaders. And when he comes out, he's then basically invincible to damage. So the only way to remove him is by instant defeating him. So like by using defeating events or defeating effects. Because outside doing damage will not defeat him until the end of the turn, and you can always heal him before you get to the end of the turn to make sure he survives the damage, and then has enough health to survive the damage, and then continue on for another day, making him very hard to kind of deal with. And especially if you're not boosting him up, he gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and to that point, it becomes almost impossible to take him up by damage because he's so big. And that's what the benefit I find is like once you deploy him, he's like leader can stick around, help with things like coordinate, help keep a Force unit on board to use, and that's why I love him. He's just a great one. Also, he's just a cool character. He's played by Donnie Yen in the film as well in Rogue One, and I just love the character. But yeah, so that's why I've chosen him, and he hasn't got the best stats. but he's got decent stats at 3-5, so he's susceptible to things like takedown quite early, which is a shame, but also is more of his effect that's what drew me to him. But we've got some leaders we use with it, and I've gone with yellow base because there are some really good benefits in yellow, and I want to try out all the different aspects. In yellow was the first one I went with because now there are two of them. It's kind of like a big kind of incentive to play yellow, like more incentive to play yellow now than before. And it still was good with yellow before, but now playing yellow with now there are two of them is even like more of a pull to try out. So we are going to go and have a look at the early turn leaders. So we've got the early ones. So the ones we've got early, play as early as turn 1, we've got is Grogu, a card that came out set 2, but never really saw play. So it's nice that if you did get this event exclusive version, you now have a way to play it. And it's a very nice one because it's got pretty solid stats. But we'll go over them once I've revealed all of them. So you've got Grogu, turn 1 plays a Grogu, you got R2D2, and you got Padawan Starfighter. Now, when I was playing, I wasn't playing Padawan Starfire, I was playing Quill, because Quill's such a great card. Right, just comes down, not too bad, it's like pretty decent stats, 2-3, and then when it starts swinging, you can mill a card, and if it shares the same aspect of your base, add it to your hand, so you get gaining more cards when it swings, and it's usually a target to take out because your opponent doesn't want you gaining cards. But I feel it's best used in a deck where either majority of your deck is cards that are the color of or the aspect of your base, which in this deck there aren't like I think there's more cards that are Vigilance than Cunning, and also it's just better with when you've got a double blue like a monocolor deck, because when you got double blue all your cards are blue, so you're always going to hit, whereas in this deck there's potentially the width, and by hitting some cards that you don't like, some blue cards like Luke and stuff like that, and you don't want to see and not lose, it just feels bad. So I decided, I was playing that before, but I've taken out for Padawan Starfire because for a very key thing which we'll go over. So all these cards are ones you can play turn 1, and they're very nice because Grogu has pretty solid defense at 5 health, no power, but that's fine. It's got 5 health to hold on, and also you can kind of tap things down by using his ability by tapping himself to exhaust an enemy unit. This allows you to play a bit more defensively, and then have something on the board, stick around with the force units also to benefit from those force effects, and also have like disruption and basically a card with a force trait to come down turn 1. Then you've got R2D2. Now this gives you the benefit of the Republic trait, which is a card that's like an effect that's normally on a trait, sorry, that's normally on most of the like Jedi and Force units in the game. So in the third set, most of the Jedi, pretty much all the Jedi units normally have the Republic and a Force traits because they're Jedi, so they have the Force, and also they're part of the Republic as well, so they've got these benefits. So this is another card. That's one of those traits for now. There are 2 of them, and also a pretty nice one. Pretty good bolt, 4 health, 2 power is also decent power, and it's a really nice effect where when it's played, you can discard any card from your hand, and if you do, look at top 3 cards, add a card from them to your hand, and then put the rest at the bottom in your random order. So this helps you dig a little bit further to try and find what you're looking for. Let's say if you don't you open with this, but not now there are 2 of them, you can potentially use this to kind of maybe look a few cards deeper to kind of find that card so you can use it turn 2. And then we've got Padawan Starfire. So I've gone for this over Quill because for the reason stated that Quill I feel like is not the best place in this deck. It's more likely going to miss than it is going to hit when you're using it. And it's got decent stats at 2 for a 2 cost. A 1/3 is pretty nice. And if you draw a Force unit or a Force upgrade, it gets an extra 1/1 to stats, so it becomes a 2/4, which is still like pretty nice as you see with R2D2. It also comes down with some really nice traits in Jedi and Republic, which is the benefit there. So now there are 2 of them. Because essentially with this card, with these cards, you want to get them turn 1. So next turn, on your turn 2, you can play now there are 2 of them to then basically play out for free a 5 cost or less Force unit. And we've got some good ones in here, which we'll see in a bit. But these are mainly the reasons why we got these for our turn 1 play. If you want to get these down and the next turn play now there are 2 of them to cheat out a 5 drop, say like Kiadi and stuff like that on the turn 2, which is pretty strong for a 5 cost 5/7 unit to come down turn 2. Pretty nice there. And these also have nice benefits as well, where they're just either doing some swings for some pretty decent damage, or they are doing some disruption like Grogu here, which is pretty nice. Now, that's our 2 cost units. Now, we do have some 3 cost ones. We have a fair few of those as well. And for those ones, we have Yoda. So Yoda is our first one because he's just that great card. Once again, never Force card and a Jedi, so never benefits for another 2 of them. We've got Ezra as well, also having the Force trait. There's also a Rebel Spectre. We didn't really get any benefit out of that. It's more the Force trait. And then we also have Concord Dawn Interceptors, because there are some things like, if you've seen any events lately, you've got Django, Django Fett being like the more like space focused one that was basically hyped up to be the next Boba. And if it's going to focus on space, you want something in the space to kind of defend against those space units. And Concord Dawn Interceptors is a great one for that. So what Yoda here being a very nice one as a free cost unit. So all these are ones you can play as early as turn 2, and they can have pretty decent stats. All have 4 health, so good amount of bulk and some differing power. So Yoda is not the best at 2 power, but still it's 2 power. He also has a restore 2, so when he swings, he heals 2 off base. And when he's defeated, choose any number of players. You're always going to choose yourself and not your opponent, and then they each draw a card. So choosing yourself to draw a card, replacing himself, is pretty nice. But it's more for the fact that he's got the Force Jedi traits from Now There Totem. And if you play these out turn 2 and then the next turn you play Now There Totem, sure, you're playing Now There Totem a little bit later, but they can now bring out a 6 cost or less by paying an extra resource when you got 4 on the next turn to bring out, say, a 6 cost Jedi instead of a 5 drop, which is pretty nice. We've also got Ezra here as well, which, just like Yoda, brings the good stats like Force unit, the Force stat. Same cost, bit more power but same health, and he's got a nice effect for when he completes an attack. So he's got attack and survive that attack. You can look at the top card of your deck. You can either play it if you've got the resources to do that, which is pretty cool. So play cards more from your hands and not using your hand, play them from the top of your deck. Or you can discard it if you don't want it, or leave it on top of your deck if you want to draw into it. So really nice options there. So if you feel like you see something that's too big to play out because you haven't got the resources for it, you can always leave it on top of your deck so you can draw it next turn when you've got potentially the resources to play it, or just because you want it in your hand. And you got Concord Dawn Interceptors. We've got 3 copies of those as well, because it's just a really nice space unit, because it's not the most powerful at 1 power, but it's Sentinel, so your opponent has to go through him, this card, to go through before getting to your Everspace units or your base. And when he is attacked, he gets 2 power for that when defending, which is really nice. So when they're attacking into him, he's actually getting stronger. When he's swinging, he's not swinging so much, but when he's attacked into, it's back a little bit harder. So those are the 3 drops, and then we do have a 4 drop, and that is Kanan. Once again, for the same traits as like Ezra, he's also got the Force and Jedi traits. So he's got the Force Jedi one, just like Yoda, like most of these units here. Got the ones to benefit from now. There are 2 of them. But also he's got a really nice effect where he's got solid stats at 4 cost. 4/5 is pretty solid stats. And when he attacks, you can discard you discard 1 card from your opponent's deck, up to the number of specters. So if you have Ezra and Kanan on board, you're making mill 2, which could go slightly for a mill strategy if you want to, if you can keep them on board together. But then for every unit but then the other benefit of this is you then heal 1 damage from your base for every different aspect among discarded cards. So if you hit a card with 2 aspects, you heal 2 for that. And most of the time, you're going to be hitting cards up to potentially 3. If you have Ezra on board, you can potentially mill 2 cards and hit 3 aspects among those 2 cards. But usually, you just have Kanan on board. He's going to swing, mill 1, and potentially heal 1 or 2 damage, depending. It's pretty nice there. And then for our 5 drops, we're going to have a look at the benefits of going into what Now There Are 2 of them can bring out, plus also another space unit. And that first space unit is Obi-Wan's Avis Sprite. That's a really good unit. 5 cost, 4/6 is pretty solid stats. And also when it's played or when it attacks, you can deal 1 damage to itself. They'll do 2 damage to another space unit. So like kind of helping clear off space units that are weaker, while also being a space unit attacking to other space units is great. And also it's another unit that's also there for the Jedi and Republic traits, which is really cool. So for that benefit of now there are 2 of them. So really nice when you play 2, because it's quite a hefty, high costing space unit. And if you don't really need space, or you don't need it, or you want to play other things on that turn, because that's also its cost is the deploy of Chirrut being turn 5, so you might not want to drop that. So we only got 2 copies of it, because if you want to hold on to it or find it, you can find it later on in the game. But then if you don't want to drop it, you don't have to then. And then now that brings us to the benefits. So here's the the ones you can play. The earliest is turn 2 for the 5 costs for now there are 2 of them, and that is Ki-Adi-Mundi and Plo Koon. So these are really nice because Ki-Adi-Mundi's got some very good stats. A 5 cost 5/7 is like great for its stats, and it also has a nice effect where it's if you've got 2 other units on board, so hopefully you've got the unit you had on board to bring it out from now there are 2 of them, and then another unit at the same turn, or you can keep Chirrut along with him. And now whenever your opponent plays a second card during each phase, you can draw 2 cards. Absolutely fantastic there. giving you a few more cards that have more options and more things to do, which is really nice. Then you got Plo Koon, and he's your ambush one. Now he's a 3/6, so still respectable stats, good amount of health, and good amount of power. He has ambush, so when he comes down, he is attacking straight away. He can attack to every unit. And he's also got coordinate, so if you've got 2 other units on board when you do play him, he gains a raid 3, so he can potentially be a 6/6 when he swings coming down, and that's absolutely great. Really lovely. Love that, and that's why I want to kind of I've been trying out with Chirrut, because Chirrut, where he's so sticky to stay around unless you use a defeat like a defeat effect, he can be the second unit you can play out, so you can deploy also the same cost as Chirrut. So if you don't play him out from Nado Totem, you can hopefully have a unit before, deploy Chirrut, that's 2 units, so you can play Plo Koon, and he's then guaranteed to have that raid free, and swing and take something out. Really nice there. And it's probably 3 copies of each of these because they're that great, and also like solid stats on them, and also great effects. Next, it brings us to the next highest one. We got a 6 cost as well. You might probably know what the 6 cost is, and that is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, I usually did I did have instead the Bindu for when I was playing Double Blue, because it's kind of a little bit better stats. I think it's like an extra health on Bendu. Also was a 4 trait, also Sentinel, but then had like a nice little benefit of playing out cards that aren't, well, whenever it swings, playing out cards that aren't heroic or villainy, to like cheaper by 2 when it swung every turn, so kind of be able to play things cheaper. So it's removal events, playing them a little cheaper, which is really nice. But then I also did have like Obi-Wan, but more focused on like. But when you're playing yellow as a base, you can't really play it Bendu, otherwise you're paying ink for it, which you don't want to do. So I got 3 Obi-Wan. I've got 3 instead of 2 because Obi-Wan's just great. Because where most of the units are Force, well, like a good majority of them are Force units, or like space units, or even just most of the ground units are. When they're all Force, you can get the full benefit of his effect, which when he's defeated, because he's a Sentinel, so your opponent has to go through him to get to the rest of the units on your base. And when he is defeated, which he's going to eventually do from having a Sentinel and being like a kind of blocker, he gives 2 experience to another unit. And if it's a Force unit, you draw cards. So you're always going to get the 2 experience, which is great. You can put even on space units, whatever. But then if it's also a Force unit, you put the experience on, you get the draw card, gaining you more cards and more options, which is really cool. He's got solid stats as a 4/6 as well, which is pretty cool for 6. And this is one you can even play him out on turn 4 using Nado Totem by having a unit out turn 2 or 3, or as long as it's 1 unit like on turn 2. Play out Nado Totem on turn 3, pay an extra resource to pay 3 plus the extra resource to cover the extra cost, and play out Obi-Wan. So you got then a Sentinel and a unit you can play him out from, which is normally a Force or Jedi. And if it's a Jedi, it's got Force, or if it's a Force, it's a Force unit. Let's get its benefits there. And then the last unit we've got is the almighty Luke Skywalker. So we can have 3 copies of this. It's just a great card, like a great cost. And this is one you can play on turn 5 when you deploy Chirrut as well, using Nado Totem. Because if your opponent's like controlling your board, not letting you have a card to card to play, so you a unit on board, so you can play Nado Totem. You can also always just deploy Chirrut, and now you've got a Force unit that's going to stay there and not die unless they use an instant removal effect, and then be basically a trigger for Nado Totem, because you can do Nado Totem. There's extra 2 resources to play out Luke Skywalker, which is minus by 3/3, and you can either take it out a little bit easier with Chirrut, that unit that you've minused on, and then you got Luke on board on turn 4 when you'd have 5 resources. So even a turn before, even set 2 Han could drop in, which is great. So great benefits there, and also the restore free as well. It's a really nice healing too. So that is all the units we've got in there, and yeah, like I said, I did have before Quill in there instead of Padawan Sapphire, but it gives a bit more space units, also good traits in it. And while it's not the best statted, it's more benefits for the Nado Totem, and also it's a pretty nice space unit, because where most of the units are Force, when you play a unit, it gets a boost, making it a 2/4 in space, which is pretty nice. And next, we're going to go over the upgrades, because I do play some upgrades in here, because it's nice to just chuck upgrades on Chirrut and just given all those benefits and stuff. And nice ones we got is Jedi Lightsaber. So this is another reason why I kind of love Chirrut, because where you can kind of survive and stay around, you can make him a lot bigger, so turn from a 3/5 to a 6/8, and then control the ground arena by just attacking into things, giving him -2/-2 thanks to Jedi Lightsaber, because he's a Force unit. You can even stick on other things. Like one of the nice things I've done before is play out Grogu turn 1, and then not seen Nado 2 of them, so I can't really use him to kind of play out like Kiadi or Plo Koon. But then he's a force unit, so I chuck a lightsaber on him, and he's gone from a 0-5 that just can tap himself to tap another unit down to now a 3-8. So pretty solid stats for a 2 cost, and now he can attack in the units that have up to 5 health and just take him out. Because he just do 3 damage, but also minus them by 2/2 thanks to Jedi Lightsaber. So he's taking out bigger things than just control the board, and this Grogu that you thought was harmless is now a threat. Whedon Lightsaber just going nuts. So that's a nice little benefit as well there. And also you can check out on things like Yoda, Ezra, Kanan, even some other units. But then the thing is, with other units, they can potentially be taken out. Whereas Chirrut's a lot harder to be taken out, especially since defeating leaders is more restrictive or more costly in terms of instant defeating effects. Whereas so chucking a Jedi lightsaber on puts him out of the way of takedown, and also makes him bigger to then just start taking things down, sticking around. Even if you heal him as well, it can add a benefit. And then the other upgrade we've got is also Perilous Position. That's a really nice one because it's just a nice way to weaken stuff and even rest things, and also just have a way to kind of prevent your opponent's leaders from being a nuisance on the turn they're deployed. Because a lot of time with nuisance, most of the time, if you want to keep a leader down, you either use instant removal, which they might come out before you have the resource to do that, which is normally for Rivals Fall 6, or unless you're in Cunning and Villainy, you have No Good to Be Dead, which is very nice. But now you have Perilous Position, which gives any blue deck the opportunity to just go right for free. But for your leader, I'm going to tap it down. Also, it's weaker as well. So not only is it tapped down for that turn, it's also weaker. So it's easier to take out by minus 2/2 stats. It's the first upgrade that minuses stats by, minuses stats. And that's just a nice beneficial thing. So not only just rest the unit, but also minus the stats. So that way they're a bit weaker. So your opponent deploys, say, deploy their Sabine. You think, oh no, they're going to attack with Sabine now, but you use this, now it's tapped down, and now it's a 0-3. That Sabine is now a 0-3, and not really a threat, really. You can keep it around, because then it can attack and ping 1 damage by its effect, but it's not at all a threat then. And then if you keep it there on the board, it can still do ping damage by swinging, but then it's not really doing any any issues until they chop a Darksaber. If you chop Darksaber on it, it's then normally it would be then a 6-8, but now it's then just a 4-6, which is a little bit more easy to deal with a unit rather than just using an effect to take it out, and a little bit easier to take out them. Next, we're going to go on to the last 5 cards, being the events. Now, I do have some events in here, and pretty handy ones, and they're all, I think, with all the events we've got in this deck, most of them are 3 elves, and some of them are 2 elves, and we've got the first one we've got is Covert Strength. So I do want to put some healing on, because you can't really, if you're focusing on having Chirrut because he can't be defeated, or he doesn't die in the end of the turn by damage until the end of the turn, you kind of want to keep him around. You're playing Chirrut because he can't be defeated by damage, but you want to keep him around. If you don't have healing, then you might as well just go for a different leader. So I did put some healing on. I thought I went for a bit cheaper on the healing. So rather than use it binds all things, which you can use, which then kind of does the same thing of healing 3 damage, but then moving the damage around, so you potentially put the damage to something else and finish it off, or weaken it, so that way it's easier to take out. But I thought I'd save some time, save a bit of in terms of resource, because it's a little bit cheaper, and this kind of does the same thing. It does the same thing in healing 3 damage, technically, but it doesn't move the damage. And also, it's a card you can smuggle, so it's an easier charge, and then use it later on. I forget the one game when I had 2 in resources, so on 6 resources, I just use it when to heal, heal 2, and then give it experience, and then do it again to kind of keep Chirrut around, even boosting up as well. Because the nice thing about this is it when I say technically heals 3, is because it heals 2 damage, which is 2 damage off, you get experience. So then it went from having it basically healed 3 in the sense that say it had 5 damage on, now it's dead, but then you're healing 2 off it, so it's down to 3 damage, but then giving experience, so now it's got 3 health left, technically healing 3 in that sense. So it's a really nice one, and the fact that you can smuggle it out means you can always resource it and use it later, or as a cheap event where if you then play out something but you've got 1 resource left, you can use this to kind of heal off damage off something. It doesn't have to be just Chirrut, it could be anything else that's damaged. So if you say you've got a Plo Koon and it's damaged from ambush, you can always heal it up because then it's a bit bigger and it's healed off as well if you've got an extra resource. So I thought that'd be more useful than it binds all things. And then we've got the 3 copies now. There are 2 of them. So if you haven't don't know what this card is. This is essentially what the benefit of running yellow. And as you can see with most of the cards now, this is the last of the yellow cards in the deck. And as you can see, with Quill, there are 5 yellow cards in the deck, so it's not often going to hit. That's why Quill wasn't a great choice for it. But I only had 2 anyway in the deck, and I wasn't really playing it often. I was focusing more on getting Grogu and R2D2 because once again, Quill, white is really good. Doesn't have the relevant traits for now, two of them, and also it isn't hitting much. So I took that out for Jedi Padawan Starfire. This is a really nice card because if you're not 1 unit on board, you can use this to then play out a non-vehicle unit from your hand that shares a trait with the unit on board. So it doesn't have to share all the traits, just one of the traits, which is why you don't have to worry about bringing out something that's exactly the same amount of traits on, just one trait. So that's why you normally go for the Jedi or a Force trait or a Republic, and you can play it, but it costs 5 less. So that's why from turn 2, if you've got a Grogu, R2D2 or Padawan Starfighter on board, you can use this to turn 2, play out Ki-Adi-Mundi or Plo Koon, and because it's a non-vehicle, so you can't play out Obi-Wan Zeta Sprite. You can play out Ki-Adi-Mundi Plo Koon, which is nice, or even turn 3 onwards, you can then play Obi-Wan, or even Luke Skywalker on the turn you deploy Chirrut, which is very nice. So it's a nice way to kind of deploy leaders, deploy cards like Luke, like these higher costing units, out a little bit earlier, so they can wreak havoc where your opponent's not prepared for them, because then they come out a little bit earlier than they usually come out. And then for the two copies of a card, we've got Fellow Dragon, nice removal. This is one that hits all the bigger units, the big problems. Like you got the Avenger, Snoke, you got Crate Dragon stuff. To think like the removal events that hit that, so you have to use your board to attack into them. You got Fellow Dragon here to take him out because it defeats any non-leader unit with 5 or more power, and it's nice and cheap. You don't want to have to be paying 6 every time to defeat any unit. You can always use the cheaper ones. Fellow Dragon's a really nice one there. And then its counterpart is Takedown. We got 2 copies of Takedown as well. Because it's nice to have a balanced 2 Felder and 2 Takedown, because you can have more Felder Dragon, but then if you have if your opponent's playing more units that can't be hit by Felder Dragon, say 4 power or more, but they have a lot of health, well 4 power or more, then you're not bringing out anything bigger. Then Felder Dragon's going to do nothing. And then you got Takedown, which if they got units that are high, like a lot more health, you can't really take them out. You need Felder Dragon for. The only things that really get through around this are cards that have 4 power but a lot of health. So either 6 or more health and 4 or less power, and that's the only ones that come through it. I get through it. It's like Obi-Wan Zeta Sprite and stuff like that. So unless they are in that, they're not really gonna have got much issue. But then you're normally gonna be just taking them out with your other units rather than that. We've got these 2 removal events that kind of cover most of your things. So you got them there. And the last card we've got is 2 copies of Force with Me. The nice thing about this is it gets a benefit on most of your units, and even then, you don't always have to have a Force unit to kind of get the good benefits from this, because the standard benefits you get from this, just playing without a Force unit, is give 2 experience to a unit and now attack straight away. Now giving 2 experience and attack straight away is still good, because it's not just a temporary boost like say with Sprite Strike and stuff like that. You actually get the benefit of the cards. The cards getting boosted twice, so it's getting 2 stats permanently and attacking. And the only benefit of having this Force unit is you give it a shield as well, so allow it to then either keep a shield attack into the base, so it's then protected, but has still that shield then do more damage after, or you crash to another unit, having that shield to protect you and also making that unit stronger as well. And usually you're going to use this on Chirrut because then he's going to make use of that boost a lot more, because he's going to stick around a lot easier and a lot harder because of his effect as well. So as a deck, I've stuck to 50 cards because I want to get consistency to kind of like find now there are 2 of them, and with a turn 1 unit as well, and also just make some good benefits. Sounds like you want to kind of mulligan for the turn 1 unit, because you don't really care if you don't see now there are 2 of them, because you potentially draw them into the turn that you need to use them. But you normally want those turn 1 units, so you can get Grogu to start off, because if you get a Grogu and a lightsaber, put a Grogu down and put a lightsaber on after, you've got a big threat, a pretty nice threat there. Even if you don't see Nado to them, you could potentially use Nado to them the turn after to bring out, say, an Obi-Wan. But you want some turn 1 threat, like even R2D2 could potentially be a unit you can play turn 1. Potentially from those 3 cards you can look at the top of from his effect. And maybe find you in an 2 of them, things like that. And even in Padawan Starfighter, if you play this out and then play next turn like a Yoda or an Ezra, you then made it from a 1-3 to a 2-4 because you've got a Force unit on board now. So you've got some nice little benefits there. So you normally want to look for that turn 1 play, not worry if you don't see Nado 2 of them. You've got some error benefits there. Because even with Grogu, if you don't see Jedi Lightsaber or Nado 2 of them, it's still going to go. If you've got initiative, okay, tap Grogu to tap your unit, now play it, and now you haven't swung at base, but basically hold off to kind of like find the things I'm looking for without taking too much damage as well. So that is the main deck. Now I'll look at the side deck next. So for the side deck, I like to put in side decks as well because even if you're playing locally, it's nice to have side decks to kind of deal with the local meta. But remember, side decks are always personal to that player, or to, like it could be personal to the player, to the format, or to the meta that's about. And so never just net deck a side deck. Always amend it to your style because there might be picks I've chosen that you might like. You can always switch up, but these are the ones I've picked for either like what I feel like I'm going to have for my locals, or what I think is going to go for the meta, or just my personal preferences. Before my side deck, I've got for Chirrut, I've got one copy of the Razor Crest because it's a nice one to kind of get back some of those upgrades because some of those upgrades are great. If your opponent managed to knock off a lightsaber or ditch a lightsaber from your hand, or you use Perilous Pursuit or Perilous Position, and on opponent's unit, and then you take out the unit, it's gone. You can get this back by using Laser Crest to kind of recycle those. And it's a nice space unit as well because the 4 costs 3/4, which is pretty decent. Restore 2, so it's healing, and it gets you back those upgrades as well. I would have this probably more in the main deck, but then I normally want to have Concord Interceptors, so use a Sentinel to force your opponent into it rather than having this out because it's a bit more costly. Normally, when I have this out, I want to play maybe Kanan or maybe now the turn and rush some other stuff, say one of my events. So this is why I've decided just in case I feel like I need it. And the other unit we've got in the side deck is 2 Redemption, just a way to kind of heal against certain decks that more want to go to the later game. Just have this down to potentially have more heal by coming down, healing potentially 8 damage off your base, and also be a Sentinel as well, or even healing off your units. This is another way you can potentially heal Chirrut as well. So if you're in late game, you just got Chirrut out, swinging, you can then use this to kind of heal 8 damage off Chirrut on his own to just keep him around a little bit easier, which is very nice, especially if you're boosting Chirrut up and up and up. The heal 8 damage straight off from using Redemption is going to be great, and also put Sentinel in your space race. So 2 copies of this. They've also got 2 copies of Shadows and Tensions, so I didn't have this when I was playing against the control deck at locals, but this is one that I decided to put in because it's a never good benefit for playing yellow. Because think about with Chirrut, he can't be defeated by damage. Well, if he's not defeated by damage till the end of the turn if it exceeds his HP. So he can't die by damage really. But he can die by instant removal, which is a problem. So if your opponent's got instant removal, they can just take it out of this. But we've got now Shadows and Tensions, which is an upgrade, a 3-cost upgrade, just like lightsaber and stuff, where now the attached unit can't be captured, defeated, or returned to its owner's hand by enemy card abilities. And this is great because now it means that in the control matchup, where if your opponent's playing hard control and just like doing things and just taking out everything, you can deploy Chirrut and then chuck a Shadowed Interventions on it, and now all that removal, like now that Power of Dark Side and stuff like that, cannot kill Chirrut because he's got a protective Shadow Intentions. Unless they can knock that off him, Chirrut's going nowhere by effects. They have to do it by damage. I have to do enough damage where you can heal it by the end of the turn. And if you put Shadow Intention and start putting healing like things like Gel Lightsabers on it, or the Forces with me and stuff, and swinging with them, and they can't do the damage to take out Chirrut, then they're not going to be able to take it. So it makes it a lot easier for the high control decks to, against high control decks, to just have your Chirrut down and keep it around. Because the thing is, with where he can't be damaged, like if they can do enough damage to a unit, put a tick out then, or you can even drop a loot and then put Shadow Tension on the turn after. But then you ideally want to do this the same turn, and that's only going to be 10 resources, which is going to be maybe too late when they start playing. Some ways to kind of then run over it. But I got 2 copies of this because you can always take out your parallel position for this in the high control matchups. They got 1 copy of Restock and everything for control mechas where if they go for like the really hard control where they're like just focusing, alright, I'll go on the mill game to kind of mill you out, then you can use this as a way to kind of recycle your cards, like recycle your removal plus restocks. That way you can keep not from decking out that, taking the damage from decking out, and then also be able to like keep removing their threats to keep it whatever you put Shadow Intentions on, keep it around as well. So never card. I normally always put my side decks for just because it's gonna be hard control, but I didn't in this case, and for those locals that I went to, and yeah, I just couldn't just kept decking out. Then we got 2 copies of Sparkray. I used to have 3, but I want to make space for stuff. I could potentially take out the Razor Crest for it, but then I feel like 2's still enough to see him, and it's a nice wave. Like, and also you just still this place for just 2 in this could be a good turn on play, and more against like the hard control decks, just ditch out from the hands. So that's where you're gonna have the most of the issue. And then the last one, we've got 2 copies of Hello there. A nice way to have some more removal by just making it so either the card they're playing is either like early turns, it's taken out if it's got 4 or less HP, it's taken out from this when they play it, or making things they do play at could be big threats that you want to take out or a hard time taking out, making them weaker so you can then go ahead and take them out then. Because potentially if you've got the 7 resources and more, your opponent can like play some units, you can go like do this to minus it by 4/4, and now it might be within range of takedown if you don't fell the dragon, things like that. It's really nice there. Nice way to kind of reduce things. So this is my side deck. Like you might be wondering, like it's not great picks. Still got to test out a bit more to do more testing because I've only I don't really test online against decks, like playing online because I've had bad experiences when playing other games online with like just random people, and I always have time to play online. But I normally like test for locals, and I do want to test out a bit more. But I like to change it up for locals and where there's no real big events now until next year in January for the Planetary qualifiers. It's going to be playing fun things like Analyse and stuff. So there we go. That is the deck. So hopefully that is you enjoy it. If you have any questions, feel free to like, comments, or I'll put down in the description. Like comment down below if you've got any questions. I'll answer them the best I can. Or if you have suggestions, that'd be great because I do want to improve on this because I love Chirrut and I just want to make him work, make him useful. So that is it for me today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.
Like a boss.